We've all been there. You're in a rush, you swipe on some cream eyeshadow, and before you can even reach for a brush to blend it out, it's locked in place. Or even worse, in my opinion, you spend 10 minutes perfecting your look only for it to crease by lunchtime. Today we're doing the ultimate worth it or walk away showdown with eyeshadow sticks. I've rounded up the icons like Laura Mercier and Chanel. I have the new Dior, and I have the more editorial runway looks that you can create with the Victoria Beckham. We're going to talk about set speed, we're going to talk about 12-hour wear, we're going to talk about cost, and then we're going to talk about which one of these high-end sticks is really worth being part of your collection. So during the summer, I always gravitate to that one and done kind of look. This is generally how I go out in the summer, not with a sweatshirt, of course, but makeup look. Like I have on the Chanel touche, I'm wearing something like that, or maybe even less. A little bit of bronzer as like bronze contour type of thing, and some lip oil. This happens to be the Fresh lip oil, the Sugar Treat lip oil in honey. It's very, very light. And then if I'm going to like step it up, I'm going to use an eyeshadow stick or something like that as a one and done kind of look, because I don't do well in heat. I need something that is easy and quick to do because I just cannot be bothered when it's hot. And 3, I need something that's gonna last in the humidity and yuckiness that is summer. I know some of you out there absolutely adore and love summer, and I totally respect that. It's just not my season. Fall is my season. Anyway, so I thought, let's go through the eyeshadow sticks that I have been using for some of them for years, and the brand new Dior is included in this list, and let's talk about per product what the highlights are for each one. What I would say here today at the beginning is that there's not one of these that is a bad product. I have multiple colors in all of these products for a reason. They're good products, but I think they're meant for different people, and they have different strengths and weaknesses that I'm gonna call out per product so you guys can see. I'm also gonna swatch them on my face, 3 on each side, so I can show you how ridiculous I look, but that way you can see them more than just on my hand. I've had them on my hand for a while because I was basically testing as I moved around, as I went underwater, like I washed my hand, you know, you get the gist, to see how they work. And I've done set times and all that good stuff so that we can talk about it. Okay, so first let's talk about the products that I have here today. I tried to pick similar shades. They're not exact, but they're close. I bet I could find more similar shades if I had all of the shades of every product, but I just don't. So we have the Victoria Beckham EyeWear. We have Laura Mercier eyeshadow sticks, which to my mind are the icons. Like those are the ones that have been around forever. There's the Chanel Stylo Ombre A Contour sticks. Now, those are a little bit different because technically they're not an eyeshadow stick. They're called eyeliner kohls. What are they called? Eyeshadow liner kohl. That's what it is. But they used to have eyeshadow sticks. They don't have them currently. I do like their eyeshadow sticks, but they're not currently on the markets. But the contours are, and they're often used as eyeshadows one and done. So I think they fit. Then we have Jones Road, which is a relatively new product as well. They are eyeshadow sticks. And then we have the new Dior and then the Rare Beauty. Like I said, I think these all have strengths and weaknesses. So let me get into the things that I'm going to talk about. So they're all about the same size. The smallest is Rare Beauty at 0.004. And the largest amount is Victoria Beckham at 0.06, not 00, 0.06. So 0.06 all the way to Rare Beauty, which is 0.04. Most of them are 0.05. They're about the same. Now, the prices do vary, and as I go through each product, I'll give you all the details. They'll show up on screen. But what I would say is there's not a huge difference. The products range. The cheapest is the Rare Beauty, but it's also the smallest amount of product that's in the stick. But they're all in that, you know, $20 to $40 range. There is a difference, like I said, but it's not drastic. All right, so let's do the Laura Mercier first, because I feel like the Laura Mercier is the one that is the icon of the group. I think it's the one that when you talk about these products, when you talk about eyeshadow sticks, Laura Mercier, to my mind, comes up first. So here is the shade. The shade is Aurora. I made it taller than all the rest of them so you can see it. They are $33. most of the time. Sometimes prices change, but that's about right. They are crease proof and waterproof, and they come in every type of color you can possibly imagine. I think at this point there's more than 40 shades. I mean, I've lost count. There's so many different kinds, and some are shimmery, some are lighter, some are more pigmented, some are matte. There's just a million of these. And the set time is pretty fast with Laura Mercier. Laura Mercier, I'd say about 60 seconds. 60 seconds is all you have. They are, formula-wise, a high pigment, creamy, buildable stick. So once this sets down after the minute is up, you can add more pigment over them. Let's say you want to put this shade down and then, like I said, use one of their sparkle shades or whatever on top of it. You can absolutely do that. It is not a problem. They build upon one another, and you don't see them get creasy or weird. I think in general though, these are one and done sticks. That's the idea of them. So I wouldn't try to put on like 3 or 4 shades. 1 or 2, maybe 3 if you're really pushing it. But really the idea is it's 1 shade, you put it on and you're done. But I have used them where I put on 2 shades. I mean, that I get. The Chanel, which is now next to it right here, they are usually $42. They are like a soft kohl, like 3-in-1 kind of texture. I'll explain what I mean by that. They're very long wear and they're very comfortable. There's seasonal shades. There's more coming out in June. They are all pastel, just so you know. They have a very high blendability because of the fact that they're kohl. And the set time is more moderate for these. So you can give, like, this is gonna stay malleable for, I'd say, a little bit longer than the Laura Mercier. The Laura Mercier, you've got a minute. After a minute, no. The Chanel's, you have more time. You have more time for the Chanel's. I'm not saying that you have a long time, but I'd say you have a couple of minutes. It's a lot longer than the Laura Mercier's. But again, it's meant to be something that you can use for different purposes. It's kind of meant to be a kohl, an eyeliner, and an eyeshadow. What's the difference? A kohl is something that you can smudge out and get sort of that smudged runway look. An eyeliner is an eyeliner, it's tighter. And then the eyeshadow, of course, all over the lid. You can do all 3 with those because of the nature of the product. But to have a kohl, like to have that idea is, you know, that smoky eye look, it needs to give you longer to play with it. So that's why it doesn't set down as fast. The texture in here is thinner and silkier than most shadow sticks so that you can put it along your waterline. So you can put these along your waterline, and with the other ones, I wouldn't necessarily do that because they're very thick. So it won't feel as comfortable, in my opinion. Rare Beauty, this one on the end. Rare Beauty is the cheapest, $22, and it is also the least amount of product at 0.04. It's a weightless gel. So this is a different kind of formula. It's pearlescent, it's water resistant, and it's fade proof. Water resistant, not waterproof. Just putting it out there. It has, I think there's 6 shades now. I'll double check that. There might be more shades that have just been released, but 6 shades, and it does set fast. I'd say about as quick as the Laura Mercier in that under a minute kind of time frame. It melts into the skin kind of finish. So it's a little bit different. It doesn't, like the Laura Mercier is better for like oilier skin. This, because of the gel nature of it, it is good for oily skin as well, but it kind of, it sinks in a little bit more. And I'd say, I can see why younger people like it because, well, first of all, the price point, but it has this more like, almost like quiet luxury. I know it sounds weird, but like it's like a lighter finish because it sinks in. The other thing I'd say about this one is it has a built-in sharpener. Now, many of the Chanel liners have this product, this feature. So there is a liner, there is a sharpener in the base, which is a unique feature because many of these eyeshadow sticks, and you know, the Chanel one, I've always been surprised that they don't have an eyeliner in their base because they say that they want to use this as a liner, as an eyeliner as well, but yet they don't have a sharpener in their base. So the Rare Beauty, you know, these sticks often get like blunted because you're putting them on your eyelid. Well, there's a sharpener in the Rare Beauty ones. So it is actually easier to use the Rare Beauty to, you know, in some cases, because of the fact that you have the sharpener built into the base. Victoria Beckham. This is $35. This one here, now it's very long. And it is a waterproof, high impact cream. It lasts about up to 8 hours. And I think there are 7 shades, sort of sophisticated neutrals is how I would call the shades. Although there are some shades that are more impactful. Like there's that blue, that was that special shade that came out. But like the core shades are sophisticated neutrals. The setting time, I'd say moderate, like the Chanel. It's built for blending. So the idea with these is that it gives you some more time to blend out, because if you've ever seen Victoria Beckham, she does her smoky eye looks, similar to her eyeliners, they are very soft and they take, you can, move them around, smudge them out. You can use them as eyeshadows actually. So they're much more malleable. They have, more time to play with them. But the thing is, they might not set down as much or as well as some of the others because of their consistency. They are incredibly pigmented and they have this kind of elevated sophistication. It looks like something you would use on a fashion shoot. Like I get how it's Victoria Beckham. Like even the shades, even the color has, I don't know, a depth to it that gives it this extra feeling to it. But they are very weightless. Like they don't feel heavier than any of the others. Jones Road is relatively new as well. This one here, third one in. And it's $26. It is infused with skincare and it's very nourishing. I'd say natural all day wear. I don't think it's 24 hours, but it's all day. I think they have like 12 shades. This sets down slow. You have a lot of time to work with this one. It is very, very creamy. It is also very, very forgiving. So, and I'm trying to look for like the best way to say this. When you have more mature eyes, vintage eyes, your skin can get crepey and it can be dry and it can be harder for you to use like a lot of these pencils because they tug or same problem you have with an eyeliner. So Jones Road was literally made to be more extra forgiving and non-chalky at all, like in any way. And so it doesn't settle into fine lines. It doesn't accentuate any crepey skin. So it's really gonna look very good on everyone, but it is gonna take longer to set down. And if you're somebody who wants something to set down immediately, like I put it on, I'm out the door and you don't have to worry about it at all. Like even if you rubbed at your eye, that's not the one. Because it is so forgiving, that's, again, pluses and minuses. So last but not least is the Dior. Now I only have 2 shades of the Dior at the moment. I will be buying more because I do like this product. I like eyeshadow sticks. I think they're easy to use. And again, in the summer, it's like all I wear. So here is the Dior. And the Dior, as I've just said, is new to the game, $42. It has a very silky, ultra gliding kind of feel to it. Melts into the skin. They have different finishes. They have pearlescent finishes and more like matte finishes, and then I think there's a shimmer. I can't remember exactly, but there's different versions of the finish on these, and they have this almost wet feeling when you first put them on. You can feel like if you put up your hand to a fan, when you first put them on, they do feel like a little wet. It is really easy to layer because of that, because they're just like a watercolor, like the Chanel watercolors in a way. Very comfortable. They stay on, I would say all day wear. They are waterproof, but they come off easily. Like you don't have to struggle to get them off. And then I'd say, like I said, more moderate when it comes to how quickly it sets, because it has that wet kind of feel to it. So it gives you more time to play with it. Depending on what's most important to you, one might be like perfect and the other one might not be, what you're looking for. As we go through these, I'm going to put them on my face, talk about what I think the best, like who they're best for, and then I will put some on my eyes as well. All right, so here's the Laura Mercier. So the Laura Mercier, like I said, is an icon. It's been around forever. I mean, I can't remember when there wasn't a Laura Mercier stick. It says 6 months on the stick. I've kept these for a lot longer. Don't tell anyone. But they are cream, so just keep that in mind. They're not powders. They do go bad faster than powder products. That is true. And the shade that I pulled out is Aurora. And I'll just like zig it down my face so you can kind of see how easily it goes on. Super smooth, not a lot of pressure. I mean, just easy. Just like easy, goes on super smooth. I'd say it's the most famous thing about the Laura Mercier is it's 24-hour waterproof and crease proof. If you're somebody who has oily lids, if you're somebody who needs 24-hour wear, if you do, I'm so sorry for you, but this is the one to go with. It's kind of, I mean, in my opinion, it's widely considered the gold standard of eyeshadow sticks. That's why there's like 50 shades. It's waterproof, it's crease proof, stays on your lids. If you have oily lids, this is the one I would go with. And there's so many shades, you have options. The Chanel. This is in shade Contour Clair, which I think is available online right now. Again, super smooth. You can see it is a little bit more, the shape of it is a little bit more pointed, but that can dull down very quickly if you just use it like straight on. I try to use it on its side so it keeps that point. This is the best 3-in-1 because it's designed to work as a kohl, an eyeliner, as an eyeshadow. What that basically means is you can put it in your waterline, you can smudge it out, you can use it all over your eyelid. It is a thinner texture, it's silkier than a traditional, actually more like the Dior is now. And it's, I don't know if I would use a Dior in the waterline, to be honest. I'll have to try it out and see what it feels like. But if you're somebody who has really sensitive waterline, I would use, and you want to use one of these there, I'd use the Chanel. But it's, I mean, it's a great product. I've been using it for years, and I think, you know, I wish they would come back with the eyeshadow sticks, but if they're not, at least they'll have these, and they do come out with multiple shades every year. This one says 18 months, so it's much longer than the Laura Mercier. Victoria Beckham. Shade that I have here is Caramel. And guys, I know they're not all exactly the same shade, but like, they're close. They have similarities between these three shades. So this is the best runway pigment. That's not really a shock if you think about who's made them. It's high impact, one swipe, color payoff. There's a lot of pigment here. Like, you put this on your eyelid, you're done. It's rich, it's pigmented type of finish. It feels weightless. It does not feel like there's anything heavy. It's designed to mirror the sophisticated runway photo shoot kind of thing. Like, I mean, it's Victoria Beckham. But what I would say about her products is that they are, like her liners, you know, more smudgeables at first and even just over time. So if you're somebody who has oily lids or you really want like just super fast, you're not gonna mess with it, then don't go with the Victoria Beckham's. All right, the new Dior I picked, and again, I don't have that many shades, but I only have two. Beige Mitza. I want the purple one. That one's only on the Dior site, I think. I don't think that's on like Sephora, but I do want the purple one. I really like Beige Mitza. It's like one of my favorite shades from Dior in like eyeshadows and single shadows that they've done. Okay, so I'd say this has the most melt into the skin, glowy, gliding type of formula. That's not a surprise because it's brand new. So the formula, I mean, I don't really know how these things are made. I've seen actually videos of how these types of things are made, but I don't know what kind of formula went into this. But I definitely feel like this one feels wet or like liquidy, which is very different than the others. The others feel creamy or like smushy, and this feels like liquid. Like, it feels wet. It definitely melts into the skin. It's really easy to put on. It's super gliding. So if you have any problems with like, you know, mature skin, you're gonna like this. But can you see how it's already almost like melting in where these look like heavier? You can see it like sinks in faster. So I'd say it's the easiest to layer without pulling on the skin of your eyelid because it's so wet. You know, you can just mess around with it. Okay, Rare Beauty. Rare Beauty, I'd say, again, if you're looking for something that you can use as a liner, you can use in more like narrow areas, right? You can use this one so well because of the sharpener that comes with it, which I have to say, like, is a cool feature. I think the others should do it. So you can always have a precision tip. There is nothing bad about the Rare Beauty. They have a really good product. It's very pigmented, it's smooth, it goes on well. Yes, there's the least amount of product in here, but it's also the cheapest. And it's like half the price. Half? Yeah, half the price of the Dior. So, you know. But I just would say the other products have more standout formulas. This one's just good. Like, it's a good quality product. I didn't mention the expiration time. This one says 6 months on it. I don't think I said the Dior. The Dior has, okay, interesting for the Dior. I double checked on the stick itself and the packaging and I can't find the expiration date, but I'm gonna, you know what, I'm not gonna bet. But I mean, everything else in Dior is always like 6 months. So I'd be surprised if it's a lot longer, but some of these are, you know, they are quite a bit longer. And the Victoria Beckham is also 18 months. So Chanel and Victoria Beckham, 18 months. Laura Mercier is 6 months. Dior, I have no idea, which is just weird. And Rare Beauty is 6 months. I don't know why it doesn't say. And last but not least is Jones Road. So if you have more mature skin, if you have crepey skin, I'm definitely gonna recommend the Jones Road. It's extra forgiving, it's non-chalky, It doesn't settle into the lines. It doesn't accentuate crepey skin on anyone. It's a natural, easy to use, more, you know, you have more time to blend it out. They do set down. And just simple, like just simple, good shades, wonderful product. Definitely more creamy, definitely gives you more time to play around with it. I'm gonna take the Laura Mercier and put it down because I want you guys to see how fast this sets. We're gonna just run it along the lash line like this. And again, this is in shade Aurora. And we're just gonna take a moment. And I used to use Laura Mercier liners, like there weren't as many different other ones. So I used to use Laura Mercier all the time. And there were many times that my eyeshadow looked a little, not weird, but like it didn't look quite right because I didn't have time to fix it. Like I just, when I was lobbying, guys, like I was running around like, you know, super busy. I'm busy now, but physically I was busier then. And, you know, sometimes this was all you got. I put on some mascara, but anyway. So yeah, it's on there, right? And I can still move it around and kind of play with it, but you'll notice that it starts to lose its ability to like blend. Even as I'm trying to pull it out, it starts to like get, it's there. It's not gonna move. And so that is what people complain about. Some people who don't want it, they want more time. When I try to take a Kolinsky brush, which is a pretty, like, this is a brush that's like a workhorse of a brush, and I try to like smudge it, it has already, I smudged it a little, but can you see how it really didn't move? So the Laura Mercier, for some of you, might be like the best one because that's what you're looking for. For others, it might be the absolute worst. And the Jones Road, which is like the opposite of that, is going to be something that you can put down and you can play with it for a lot longer. I will go like that with it and then, you know, talk to you guys for a couple seconds. You'll find that the Jones Road, as I sit here and chat, it will give me the ability to, you know, blend it out and smudge it out and put it into different places and layer it and, you know, put other colors on it. And I can smudge it with my finger. All of those things that you would probably want to do if you have more time. If you're running around, you don't have time to do that anyway. But if you have crepey skin, it does matter the creaminess of it because you don't want to pull too much. And with the Laura Mercier, you have to pull because it is setting down so quickly that you have to like kind of push and pull at it to get it to move at all. And so if you notice what I'm doing here with the Jones Road, I just blended it out all over my eye. So it's now literally completely blended out. That's the difference between those two. Different, you know, different products for different people. And last, I'm going to take the Dior, and I'm just going to take the Dior and put a little bit like on the mobile lid here. What I'd say about the Dior, like I said, is that it has this wetness, which I really do like. And it just looks, I don't know, like fresh. It looks like a new type of product. And I mean, it is a new product, but it has this luminescence, this pearlescence, which is, you know, how it's described, that the others don't really have. And I like it. I like the wetness of it. I like the fact that you can put it on over other things, which you can see. So yeah, I really like that product. All right, so let me take my microfiber cloth to my face, and we will go over again which ones these are. We have the Laura Mercier, Chanel, and Victoria Beckham. Laura Mercier, Chanel, Victoria Beckham. If you notice, of the three, the one that took off the most was the Chanel. Victoria Beckham didn't move. Laura Mercier didn't move. And I'm coming at it with a microfiber towel, guys. Like, this is this is harsh. Nobody would do this. No sensible person would do this to their face. And then on this side, Rare Beauty, Dior, and then Jones Road. Okay. Now, yes, I did put this on last, so, you know, yes, it came off easier, but it's gonna come off easier anyway. Just trust me on this one. The Rare Beauty comes off, but mostly stays on. The Dior stays on pretty well, but there's like spots that come off, and the Jones Road like pretty much just comes off. I'm going to take a little bit of the Chanel while we finish up and use this as liner. So like I said, none of these are bad products. I think they're just more, you know, depending on what you're looking for, they may be like the perfect product for you, or they may be the worst product for you. I think for me, if I had to choose my favorite, the one that I like more than any other, it's tough. I'm going to take the Victoria Beckham. It's between the Victoria Beckham and the new Dior. It is tough. And here's the Rare Beauty. So now I've put all of them on. I think my thought process is this. The Jones Road has its place. The Jones Road has its place because there are folks out there who have, you know, more problematic, fussy eyelids, and they need something that they have more time to play with. I have very dry eyelids. Very dry. So for me, that's actually like just fine. You know, it's okay to have the Jones Road because it takes like practically no time for things to set on my eyes because they're so dry. So the fact that they're creamier and they don't set as much is okay. However, if it's really humid and like rainy and stuff, the Jones Road's gonna come off your eye. The new Dior is very wet and very pretty. I really like the way that it looks. And as you saw, it stays on. It's just, if you pull it off with microfiber towel, yes, you can pull off some of it, but I think it sets pretty quickly and it has a really nice finish. The Rare Beauty is a great choice if you're just looking for like a workhorse of a product. It works well, the colors are nice, and it's definitely cheaper. I mean, that's not a bad thing. But the Victoria Beckham has this, like, I don't know, there's a uniqueness to the Victoria Beckham that but again, it is more of that editorial runway, heavy pigmented, but I do love it. Let me know which one's your favorite. And now seeing this video, would you change your mind? Like, would you pick up a product like the Chanel that you didn't have before? Or would you get the new Dior and you weren't gonna get it? Or you absolutely will never buy either the Jones Road or the Laura Mercier, which are on the other ends of the spectrum from each other. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it and hope to see you in another video really soon.